Yeah, looks like we are.
Now we're live. Sweet. Hi guys, good morning, Akashians. How are we doing?
Fantastic.
Are we alive? We got a not so excited face.
Zing. What's wrong, Zing?
Yeah, what's wrong? What's going on? All right. Well, thanks for coming, guys. We're really happy to have you guys all here on this Friday morning. Some of it might be afternoon or evening for some of you guys. I know we have quite a bit of a global audience. It's been quite some time since our last challenge live stream. I think our last live stream was phase 2, maybe like a month or two ago, but maybe actually longer. I don't know. But we're really happy to have you guys here. We do love doing the live streams, and I think it's a really awesome opportunity for us to connect with you guys and answer some questions and kind of just go over what's been happening in the Akash universe in terms of product and just general company updates. So yeah, my name is Michael. I'm the global marketing manager. You guys have probably seen me on Twitter or Telegram or interacted with me at some point in time. But it's really great to kind of like finally meet you guys on camera. Greg, do you want to introduce yourself? I don't think you really need an introduction, but.
My name is Greg Osuri. I am the CEO founder of Akash Network. That's, pretty much my introduction, I suppose.
Greg is boss man. So during the stream, if you guys weren't here for our last streams, again, we give updates and we answer your questions. So there's a little box here that says ask a question. If there's something that comes up to your mind while we're speaking, feel free to just ask right there, and we'll try to get to your question either during the duration of the AMA or at the end, at the tail end. You will have, you will have an opportunity to submit questions. We will be selecting 5 participants from the live stream randomly at the next live stream for exclusive branded Akash merch. So you guys will get an opportunity to win a sweatshirt or a t-shirt. And so 5 people from the 50 or however many people join today and are attending live will be selected at the next live stream. So now that you kind of know the lay of the land, why don't we get into some recap, Greg?
Awesome. Good to be back. This is our, what's our live, and what number live stream are we on?
I think this is I want to say it's like 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah, last time we did this was during our phase 1 and phase 2. We plan on doing more of these. So recap what happened in the last 2 phases. The last 2 phases which led to us launching the mainnet. So phase 1, we set out to test the performance of the Akash DEX, essentially. We incentivized validators to bring up our nodes and start validating. We saw about 99 active validators participating. That gave us quite a bit of confidence to launch a mainnet. And during phase 1, we tested an incredible opportunity to test out a massive zero-fee spam attack that essentially took down the network. But gladly, we didn't go down. There were at least a good number, about 12 validators that still withstood the attack. To summarize, we had about 235,000 new accounts during the spam attack, about 3.6 million transactions, about 5,000 transactions per block. So it was a pretty massive attack. And 60 nodes failed. And what we learned from that was free is not always free. So having free transactions doesn't really scale the network. Having small fee, how much ever small it is, having some fee is a incredible protection against spam. So that gave us a lot of input and gave our validators quite a bit of insight into how do you really think about gas fee, not just for prosperity, but also to secure the network, right? So with that knowledge, we were able to, thanks to our friends Novi that led this attack. So with this knowledge, we were able to give our validators enough confidence and enough context to properly configure the nodes. And we also got lucky with an AWS outage. I mean, it's been happening quite a bit lately, but it happened during our during our phase one, and what that really brought out was the fact that there were some nodes on AWS running on Akash, even though Akash being a permissionless network, we don't really know who these validators are for the most part. I mean, we know some of them that reach out to us actively. For the most part, we don't know who these validators are. But during the attack, we discovered there were about 10 or 15 nodes running on AWS because AWS went down. But majority of the nodes running on Akash were not on AWS, so that was really refreshing to learn that most of our network and most of our community is not a very pro AWS. Unlike Ethereum community, which has 60% of the nodes on AWS, we'll change that very soon. But so yes, this incredible spam attack and this incredible AWS outage, which rarely happens during testnets, gave us incredible amount of data and knowledge to launch our mainnet. And as everyone knows, mainnet launched on September 25th, exactly at 9 a.m. Pacific, with about 60 validators, 64 validators coming online exactly at the same time. Very rarely that happens in a decentralized network. We take a lot of pride in our engineering and in our efforts to design a product that can launch without any friction. So for any of you distributed systems engineers out there in the stream, to give you context, think of these. The best analogy to have to place these nodes is launching a database network. Imagine launching 64 servers exactly at the same time in a peer-to-peer manner. There's no centralized control, and expect it to come live exactly, without friction. So that is a feat of engineering that we take a lot of pride in. Mainnet is doing incredibly well. We are close to about 1 million transactions, very, very close. I think we'll hit 1 million transactions on December 7th. Sorry, million blocks on December 7th. And so it's that all that effort really can tie it back to our phase one and phase two. In phase two, we introduced the platform functionality from a DEX operation standpoint, not the actual deployment, but really understanding how the data storage can scale to the functionality that eventually led up to phase three. So in phase two, we demonstrated some of the features. We introduced to the world what a cloud DEX should look like. World's first peer-to-peer decentralized exchange for cloud compute. We learned quite a bit, and during the DEX was essentially based on the latest Cosmos version. I believe it was 0.4.0. And this version was still under development, but we had to adopt this version because the older versions were going out of commission. And phase two didn't exactly go according to the plan. We hit a lot of scalability challenges, mainly with our upstream libraries, considering these libraries were still under development. And but that gave us quite a bit insight as to the work that was involved, and it was quite a bit of heavy lift on engineering to work with Cosmos teams to really solve some of these scalability issues. And if you want to know more details of it, it's the serialization that was causing a lot of problems where you couldn't essentially synchronize nodes in a timely manner. So that was resulting in extremely slow transactions and whatnot. So we had to take that knowledge and spent a good 6 months of engineering to launch the phase three. So that's really what happened in phase two. And these are not just issues that we faced, right? So these were issues, Game of Zones Game of Zones, which is the incentivized testnet of Cosmos, faced as well. So it was a community-wide issue that I'm super proud of Cosmos to actually get come together, involve these amazing teams together and work out a solution. So we're really, really proud and really happy to be part of Cosmos issues, Cosmos community. It's not the technology alone, but it's how you coordinate that matters quite a bit. And And that's just a testament to the decentralization cosmos ecosystem has evolved to. That's really what's the, to give you a little context of phase 1 and phase 2, and phase 1 phase 2 led us to where we are today with a successful mainnet launch and a successful phase 3 launch, and that is incredible progress. Yeah, Michael.
Great. Do we want to talk about what's in phase 3, Greg? Is that where we're at now?
Yes, absolutely. So phase 3, very, very exciting. Amazing. So far, phase 3 is designed to last for 2 weeks. This is the goal of phase 3 is to really introduce the full platform functionality for the world's first non-custodial cloud. Remember, the Akash network is the only network that there is today where you can deploy workloads without a sign up, without a password, without email addresses, just by using your account and your key, and is fully permissionless, both from the provider as well as the user standpoint. And designing something that is peer-to-peer, and it feels and looks like a cloud, but it doesn't have all the bad things a cloud has, where censorship resistance and whatnot. So for the first time, not for the first time, we kind of demonstrated the functionality about a year ago, but this is the first time we're demonstrating the production-ready functionality to the world. I'm really happy to say that we have about 800 applications deployed as of this morning, supported by over 135 validators. I got to get the numbers because these numbers are growing by the hour, So last I checked, it was incredible success, right? So we did not anticipate, we did not think it was going to be this many applications. Our best bet was maybe 400 applications, but we more than doubled the application. And it's really amazing the kind of applications that are being deployed. So I think it covers the whole gamut of what kind of applications you can deploy on Akash. So we started out with simple single-tier web applications based on Node.js, which most of DeFi front-ends are written in, single-tier applications, and we had a few hundred of them. I mean, I think 210 or something. Last we checked. Again, there's no way to know what kind of applications are really deployed on Akash. I mean, the only way we know about these applications is because people send us pull requests and say that they've deployed this application, and then we go and verify them. But Akash, by design, is designed to be very private, and it's very hard to know what kind of applications they're running. Anyway, so the single-tier applications, which covers most of DeFi front ends, to a two-tier applications where you have a database-based backend and a web-based front end that demonstrates most of cloud applications, where you have essentially I would say at least a good 90 to 80%. And then we have the third category of applications where you do not particularly have a web front end, but an API front end. So most of blockchain nodes, I think we're running about 130 or 140 blockchain nodes as of today, and this is day 5, right? So this is quite a bit if you think about it to get in a very first version of platform testnet, and the platform withstood all the load masterfully, and that's just testament to Akash engineering. Therefore, the folks put in, and I'd also, I mean, again, like this is a testnet, so the goal was for us to learn quite a bit from what we our assumptions and validate those assumptions or invalidate those assumptions. We learned quite a bit, and a lot of things we can get back to and work on after we are done with this 2-week sprint. The team has worked night and day through the Thanksgiving weekend to give you this testnet. Really proud of our work, and again, this testnet also encompasses phase 1 and phase 2 combined. So on one side, we have this massive validator set, about 100 plus validators supporting the testnet. On the other side, we have this amazing set of tenants and deployments that are happening. So it's a lot of work, a lot of activity that's happening. You should check out our block explorers to get an idea as to where we are with things. So it's all public, it's all open. It's the beauty of blockchain. And again, this is broken into 2 weeks. The first week is basically to guide you and tell you what you can do, and the second week is designed for you to tell us what we can do, right? So the first week was a set of guided challenges. So we wrote a documentation, we wrote our guides, and we asked you to look at those guides and deploy using those guides. And it increases in complexity. Like I said, it begins with a single tier application, goes on to multi-tier and blockchain nodes. And the next week is essentially covering purely node infrastructure. So we want to be able to deploy our PC nodes, API nodes, and full nodes. So this will give us ample amount of confidence to launch our mainnet in the next few months. And we're really excited what you can do. So again, the set of challenges are broken up into the guided challenges and community challenges. What we want to encourage people is to, tell us what you can do with Akash. So we gave you a few ideas what you can start out with, and the incentives are pretty aligned for pretty high. In fact, some of this, we're giving out 1,500 AKT. That's close to $1,000 for you to be able to come with your own application and deploy. So some of the application ideas that you can deploy in Akash are DEX frontends, right? So most of DEX frontends, be it Uniswaps or be it PancakeSwap or be it Serum DEX UI, and a lot of these are written in Node.js, and they can, basically be ported over to run on Akash with very, very little effort. And there are amazing tools that we're using. Buildpacks.io is a great tool that'll take essentially what a GitHub repo is and make that into a container. The way you deploy on Akash is to containerize the application, then create an SDL around it. So using a tool like Buildpacks will essentially help you get to that containerization with very little effort. Big fan of it, and we're writing a lot of guides around how to do this again. And there's also the community guides we're incentivizing folks. So we've gotten a few incredible guides. I'm trying to look from
we've got like 5, I think.
5, right? Yeah.
And we have them in separate languages, which is amazing. So we have guys coming in Chinese, we have guys coming in Russian. Those are 2 of our larger communities, and it's really incredible to see kind of the whole people from all around the world participating. It's really encouraging.
Yeah, and there are incentives for you to write these guides as well. So please go to our challenge page, which has details around what kind of guides you can write and what kind of rewards we're paying out to people. Really, this is a very early network, and we want as many as people to get an idea and get introduced to Akash because the decentralized world needs a decentralized cloud, and because we need to take care of our own.
Right, and so just to touch on some of the things that Greg just said, I mean, it's really phenomenal. When we set out in the marketing department when we had a goal of let's just get 100 application deployments on this network, right? Because based on our previous testnets, we took a look at the previous testnets, we took a look at our community now. We said, you know what, if we could get 100 applications deployed on the network, this is a win for us. But we've already had, like Greg said, 800. And of those 800, there's people who are even who are using the network and deploying who aren't even submitting for rewards. So there were like almost 300 separate deployments that have nothing to do with reward, which is really amazing. Also, there's over 250 unique users. So there's 250 separate people in the world. And it's only increasing. Again, like Greg said, this is day 5, 2 weeks ago. So, we're in 5 days in, and there's 250 people and a lot of them were actually, oddly enough, shout out to our Russian community. There's a lot of participation coming from Russia. So I just want to shout out Russia. If anybody in here is from Russia in the chat, we love what you guys are doing. We love what all of you guys are doing, but specifically from Russia, you guys are really showing up. But yeah, so it's really phenomenal to see what's been happening. And we can't wait to see what happens with week 2. I mean, there's so many exciting challenges coming with week 2. But I guess, this is kind of a good time for us to just acknowledge some of the things that we've been doing for the last couple months since we've seen you last. There have been a ton of really exciting things that happened. Like Greg said, we had our mainnet launch that kind of started the Akash D Cloud and network governance. It enabled us to stake, and it gave delegate. It gave the ability for people to delegate as well. We launched with 64 validators, and it was a seamless launch. It was really exciting for that to happen, just to see how seamless the actual launch was. We also had our initial exchange offering, which was really exciting because we got liquidity to the AKT token, and that was definitely one of a big milestone that we've been looking to achieve, and it was just really amazing that we ended up actually launching on BitMax for our IEO. And as we continue to expand globally and accelerate to our milestones, we've had a lot of demand to increase access to AKT. So a lot of people in the United States, we're based out of the United States. A lot of people in the US were like, why can't I buy AKT? And obviously a lot of you know that is challenging. Giving access to, bringing liquidity to the United States was challenging. But now, as of December 7th, you'll be able to buy AKT in the United States and all in various other regions around the world through Bitmart. So look forward to increasing liquidity there as well. As you guys know, we also integrated with Cosmos Station, the #1 wallet for the Cosmos ecosystem, and that just got completed last week. Super exciting. I think we've gotten some great feedback. It looks like a lot of you guys really like Cosmos Station. Some of the things that you can do in Cosmos Station include importing and creating and watching your wallet, checking your balance, sending transactions, browsing transaction history. You can even vote for governance proposals, delegate, undelegate. So there's a lot of things that you can do with Cosmos Station. It's great to have such an amazing partner for a wallet. We also had an exciting advisor announcement. We welcome Brian Fox. He is the creator of the Bash Shell and the CTO of Orchid Labs. Some of you guys might know him because you banked with Wells Fargo and used his online banking software. And he's also working on creating an open source election system as well. And he's an active advocate for open source election systems as a way to secure U.S. elections against foreign interference.
So I think most engineers used Brian Fox's software. Every Mac or every Windows desktop or laptop has Bash installed. So Bash is the most widely used programming language in the world, right? So and Brian is also the first employee of Free Software Foundation. Free Software Foundation is I would say the first open source advocacy foundation started by Richard Stallman. Richard Stallman is a creator of GNU. And these are OG, open source people. And having someone like Brian come and join us, advise us, invest in Akash is, he's an AKT bag holder. So that's really, really exciting. Having someone like that is just an incredible testament to the technology and to the vision that we set out to achieve. Because Akash, again, is the world's only and the first open source cloud for the open source world, right? So as you know, the current situation is the current centralized cloud is very adversarial when it comes to open source software. Usually they take open source software, white label them, and ship them as their own and capitalize on it. But Akash's vision is to reverse that, really give an open source an opportunity to succeed. And having someone like Brian really gives us an incredible amount of confidence in our own vision, and also incredible amount of testament to the world. We are really excited, and soon we'll be making a lot more announcements when top-tier open source advocates similar to Brian Fox joining Akash as well.
And if you want to stay up to date and you want to make sure that you're not missing anything, our blog is a great place to start. So our blog, we have weekly blogs that cover partnership news, new advisors, technical updates. We have a new bi-monthly technical update called, I think it's, what is it?
The bi-monthly?
Yeah, the bi-monthly.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have a bi-monthly engineering update that we've been releasing just to keep you guys up to date as to what we're doing and where we are with our product. And so the blog is a great place to kind of just stay up to date with everything that we're doing. And I highly suggest that you guys check in every so often. Now is the fun part. So I wanted to take this opportunity to so firstly, like I said earlier, we'll be selecting 5 lucky Akashians at random this coming live stream. So not this live stream right now, but at the next live stream to win some exclusive Akash merch. And but before then, I want to shout out some. I just want to give some shout outs to some of the people in the community who have been working extra hard to evangelize Akash and have been spending a lot of effort just making sure that people around the world have greater awareness of what we're doing and what we have done. Rob from the Akashians group is getting a huge shout out. I mean, the whole Akashians group in general has been incredible, but you've been a force of nature in evangelizing Akash. You basically started our first true independent community. You've gotten your community to create amazing content. You're running great gift competitions, promotions, in addition to helping all the other Akashians kind of understand a little bit more about what we are and what we're doing. And you've just been extolling AKT like it's nobody's business, amplifying our product, and all of our company announcements across Twitter, Telegram, all your other channels. So I just want to take this opportunity to appreciate kind of what you've been doing and the group as well. I love your group. I really like checking in there and seeing what you guys are talking about, and you guys make some really amazing content. So I just wanted to thank you and all your efforts, and we really look forward to working together in the future. So yeah, so go Akashians, go Rob, you guys are amazing. Also Elon, I'm not sure if Elon Trades is in here, but thanks for the impromptu AMA you had with Greg. I think that was really amazing and super informative. If you guys didn't check, you can go into if you guys weren't there rather when it happened, it was kind of like an impromptu flash AMA. You can go to Elon Trades discussion Telegram and just search for Greg Osuri. You'll see kind of the exchange he had with the community in there. There was a lot of great back and forth, really free form sort of flash AMA. So a lot of great stuff there. But thank you, Elon. You've been really great. You've been evangelizing us again on Twitter, the Telegram group, and I like that you've been really digging into what we're about and where we're coming from and where we're going. Thank you for being so insightful. Thank you to these people. I'm not going to butcher your name because I have too much respect, so I'm going to type it into this group right here. Thank you to all these people for creating guides for us. You guys have been incredible. And since then, I'm sure we've had a number of people are writing guides, and we're getting a new guide every day, basically, in different languages also. So we have like 2 or 3 in Chinese, 1 in Russian, several in English. So thank you guys so much, because the more that you guys, looks like somebody was in the Elon group AMA, so Vince enjoyed it too. You guys are really making a big difference, because everybody else coming to Akash now you've done the work for a lot of people coming to Akash. People are looking at your guys and saying, hey, now this is so much easier for me to do this. I can use the network, and it just makes the whole process a lot better, and it makes the sort of the iterative nature of working on the network a lot easier for us. So thank you all for all of that. And I guess now I just want to thank all the challengers. So, like Greg said, and I indicated earlier, we had like 250 separate people playing around with this thing, and just want to thank everybody here for doing that. So thank you guys for just taking your time, because I know your time is valuable. Hey, Ivan, we appreciate you. We appreciate the Russian group. Thank you. So thank you. Oh, we got Tarzan from Istanbul. Great. Just want to thank all of you guys for playing around with it, because we don't learn anything from this network if people don't use it. It's enough for us to build the thing, but if you guys aren't using it, and you guys, we got India in the house too. If you guys aren't using it and playing around with it and telling us, hey, why don't you do this or work on this, or showing us what's wrong or what's right, even, we're not going to figure out how to make this product better. So we really need you guys here just as much as we need the product. So thank you guys. So Yeah, it's exciting to hear. Thank you guys. I mean, we have such a global audience here today. So why don't we jump into some Q&A? I mean, it looks like some of you guys have quite a few questions. So Greg, why don't we kind of dive into these?
Yep. First question, Lucky Draw 66. How does AKT plan to explain such technical topics to a broader audience? How does AKT plan to show the world that your product isn't just useless blockchain solution to a problem that doesn't exist? Well, it is definitely, the first part is I'm going to answer. The second part, it is, we do have difference of opinion when it comes to uselessness and usefulness. To be very, very clear, Akash Network is the world's first non-custodial cloud that can offer anywhere up to 2 times to 10 times lower cost than the current cloud. So saving money is definitely a very useless thing if you think. So you can save a lot of money. And to give you context, a lot of the saving money is so critical, not just in blockchain, it is across the world, especially when you're doing machine learning, right? Anything big data related. So how do we tell the world that saving money is something we offer? We show them. We show them what we can do. So launching the platform first is very, very important. So instead of us just telling the world what we can do, it's the whole world that is telling. Along with improving content and giving out a lot more interactive content. Our marketing department is really active on getting these like new types of very simplified messages like, hey, use Akash, save 10 times, 50%, 15 minutes with Greg Osuri will save 50% or more in your cloud bills. Basically the message we're trying to get to.
Right, and also to, not to interject, Greg, but also just to speak to that question before you continue, Greg. The cloud is a massively emerging industry. The cloud is going to be over a $300 billion industry in less than 3 years, projected to be. And all of most workloads are starting to move over to the cloud. I mean, you saw with the pandemic, people weren't able to work in their offices. How many people do you know work in an office right now, right? So workloads are moving to the cloud. The cloud, demand for cloud is increasing, right? And so as that happens, our job is to explain to people how do we fit in that greater picture. What can Akash do for people who already need the cloud in ways that major cloud service providers or various other decentralized options can't do? And so that's on not just us, but also our community to explain to people, hey, this is, and you guys have been really amazing at doing that. Again, shout out to the Akashians. We're not a blockchain product only, we are a cloud company. And so in that sense, I think one of our biggest objectives is to explain to people from that perspective what we're able to bring to the table that others aren't.
Yeah, and also how do we achieve this cost savings is the most fascinating thing. So how can we do this, right? Whether you have Amazon, Microsoft, Google, there are a lot of servers, there are a lot of supply. They can easily compete with a small project or small network like ours. We tap into world's unused cloud capacity. So 85% of the global cloud capacity that's sitting in data centers is not used. Right, that's the data. Probably even more. We're being conservative with our estimates, right? So most of that is not used because companies like Intuit and major companies like Honda and all these, right? They sit on these massive server farms because they plan for peak, and they have this peak time. Peak times. If you think about Intuit's situation, Intuit is the company that makes TurboTax. So during tax season, their server peaks up to like 95, 96%. During non-tax season, which is like 9 months of the year, their usage is like maybe 10%, right? So they have this like massive underutilized capacity they're sitting on, they're not using, and there's no way for them to make money. And moreover, these servers, the shelf life is about 3 years. So if you don't use it, you lose it. So companies like that are looking at Akash and like, hey, this is a good way to get some liquidity on these like dead servers that we are not using. So they're supplying the supply to Akash, and Akash is being this cloud, a decentralized cloud, is then packaging this in a very usable manner to people that need lower cost compute. So that's how we achieve this massive cost savings, right? And second thing, Akash is a non-custodial. So what that means is today you see a lot of DeFi applications that are hosted on these like centralized servers. And as you know, the regulatory situation is very murky. And very, very soon, we're going to see a lot of these, DeFi exchanges getting shut down because they're hosting and they're facilitating money transactions without proper banking licenses, right? So what Akash gives them is a way out. So instead of them hosting and them facilitating transactions, they can have users use Akash to launch their own DEXs by themselves, so that way they shift the liability to the user. So, and then now regulators has to go attack the users, which is hundreds and thousands of them, eventually when we see this blockchain being adopted. So Akash is primed as the only cloud for DeFi that can do this. No other cloud can do this in the world, right? So it's incredibly effective for launching DeFi applications, right? So that's where the non-custodial part. So we have the cloud cost savings part and the non-custodial part, right? And third, Akash is a cloud designed in 2020. So if you're a cloud engineer, and if you use Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, you know how difficult and how painful it is, right? So I was able to take a Looney web application. We heard Looney was going out of business, and we're like, okay, we got to show people that we can actually take care of our own. So we took this Looney open source application. It took me literally 5 minutes to take from their GitHub to put it on Akash. It was a beautiful experience, right? So compare that to what you can do on the cloud. So cloud is clunky because it was built like last decade. It's not a technology meant for 2020. So Akash is the cloud for 2020. So they have these three incredible benefits that are more aligned with mainstream more than blockchain, right? Because blockchain doesn't really yet have the scale that we are targeting. So I hope that answers the question on usefulness and how we're going to go outside of blockchain.
Thanks, Greg. That was awesome. Andrew, our Russian community manager, shout out to Andrew. Andrew's been with us for the last half year, and he's done really incredible work expanding us into Russia. He has a question. Will Akash be supporting validators outside US in some way?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We thought we are supporting validators from outside the US. I mean, for them, but if there's any indication we are not, I want to fix that in every way possible. Like I think a lot of some of our biggest validators, be it Forball, be it Forball is one I can think top of my head, is from outside the US, right? So we absolutely are making a lot of effort, and you can see a lot of our content is actually translated into non-English languages, and we have content on Russian, Chinese, and Korean. So we are making a lot of effort to reach out to validators outside the US. Huobi Pool is another big validator from our top 10 validators that's outside the US. And we want to start delegating. The way we want to delegate is to essentially understand what value these validators are bringing to Akash beyond just validating. As you know, there's a lot of demand to be an Akash validator, and also the minimum requirement, even though it's not protocol enforced, but you got to have at least $500,000 in delegation, 500,000 AKT in delegation in order to validate on Akash, right? So we are doing our best to delegate our treasury and our team's tokens to smaller validators, and we will continue to do so. Our goal is to decentralize as much as possible. Maybe we'll even, in our white paper, we said that we'll increase the number of validators from 64 to 120. To 128 soon. But before we do that, we have to make sure that we have a very strong validator set. So keeping the validator set small gives us the technical competence and the security we need before we can scale out. Luckily, our technology per se supports, because you can see in our testnet, we do have over 100 validators. So it's not a technical limitation. It's more of a community limitation. Again, when we have to they're Quan Furball from Hong Kong. And it's mostly a community limitation that we have to coordinate with a lot of community members when we increase our validator set, right? So that's really the challenge, and we're getting there. And we want to encourage validators outside the US, starting off with creating content, technical content to community content. And if you're outside validator, come talk to us, and we're happy to delegate and encourage folks to get on network.
So this is a good one. How do you plan to let Akash Network arrive to top venture capitalists / big cloud company, big company like yours? So the question is like, how are we essentially going to get larger companies or venture capitalists to convince them to switch to Decode?
Yeah, so as you know, I mean, we are a venture-backed organization. The Overclock Labs, which is the company behind Akash, is venture-backed. All the way from we raised money from Sequoia Scout to Tuesday Capital, which was formerly called Crunch Fund, Michael Arrington, TechCrunch. And we have TRG Capital, we have DAC, and we have a lot of VCs invested in Akash. And what VCs don't necessarily host their own technology. I mean, they go talk on Twitter. That doesn't mean they're actually technologists. But we do have some technically oriented funds that are not investing in Akash, but actually announced that they're going to switch to Akash. Stake Capital, which is Julian. I don't know if Julian's on the chat today. But Scale is a very prominent DeFi, DeFi venture capital firm. They recently announced that they're going to switch to Akash from AWS. So that's a big win for us. And they're going to start out with deploying non-mission critical workloads, so some of the ancillary workloads, and then slowly, once they get enough confidence, they're going to move to Akash again. Adoption for a cloud platform is essentially climb the credibility ladder, even though we can do a lot of things AWS can do, but the users need to get credibility. I mean, we need to get credibility in front of users and convince them that it is a safe bet to move to Akash, and that is only a function of time and will happen as we keep shipping product and keep reaching out to our ecosystem. And big cloud companies, as you know, our biggest provider is Equinix. Now, for those of you who don't know who Equinix is the cloud for the clouds. Equinix provides the data centers and compute to Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. So it is the interconnection between the clouds, and that is our provider. So that is the biggest you can get when it comes to data centers. To acknowledge that Akash is the way that they want to make money. So we went for the biggest first, and then, of course, a lot of people follow the biggest guys, right? So we can't really discuss and disclose who we're working with, but we're working with large banks that'll be switching over to Akash. Some work, like, again, they're not switching the whole thing, but they're going to start with small workloads and then move up to large workloads as they get enough confidence. And these are big, large companies. And then we have, the big ones. We had a lot of, I can't disclose names, but we had, I would say, like Fortune 50 companies that approach us and start evaluating Akash right now. And again, it's a credibility thing, so it takes a lot of time to get to this company. So we're not like focusing on big enterprises because Akash is a permissionless cloud, right? We don't want to depend on one big company or two big companies that'll dictate our roadmap. Now, we want to distribute as much as possible. So our focus, being DeFi, is because that aligns really well from an ideological standpoint with what our ideology. And we set the standard because this open source really starts with the community first and then goes the way up, right? But the good thing is people are starting to see Akash, and we just shipped our platform like 5 days ago. So it's still very, very, very brand new. And for 5 days, getting about 200 plus users and about 900 deployments is unheard of, even for a regular cloud platform. So it's very, very, very new. So expecting a large, company for a 5-day product, having someone like Equinix is pretty good. But expecting a large company to just pick off Akash. We are past that 2017, 2018 craze. We'll send an MOU or something, and we'll make an announcement. Hey, this company is using X. No, we're not that. We actually have a product. People are using it, and we have a very diligent way of onboarding users and actually shipping product before we can make big announcements. But big ones are coming, if that answers your question.
Great question, by the way. Thanks for that. Lucky draw, you already answered one, so we're going to pass. Maxime, we kind of touched on that in terms of if and when we'll increase the number of validators. Let's see, we've got Andrew again. We're going to pass on you, Lucky draw. We'll get back to you if we have some time. I just want to make sure that everybody gets at least one question answered. Will there be live stream for Russian community in the future? Absolutely. I think there's absolutely an opportunity for us to do that. We just had an interview yesterday with Encrypted, and that was our first video interview with the Russian community, and we really enjoyed it. And so I absolutely think that in the future there will be an instance where we have this very similar type of live stream where we go over product updates and just general company updates and field questions live. And yeah, so I do think that there's space for a live stream with the Russian community. We love you guys. You guys are awesome. I know that there are some of you guys in the chat, but I don't know how many, but we really do appreciate you. So compared with traditional cloud computing, can Akash reduce costs for users? How much can be reduced?
That's about 2 times to 10 times what Akash can bring. Really depends on the workload, but at the minimum 2 times. And that's one of the main reasons why people are looking at Akash. And as you know, cloud costs are a big, big part of the problem today.
Okay, great. So Akash now works with so many good partners such as Solana, Cosmos. So what are the benefits that the partners bring to Akash? That's a good question.
Well, I don't know if you had a chance to look at my tweet recently. I mean, that got retweeted by
Maybe we can link to that tweet.
So Solana and Cosmos community soon will be able to enjoy low-cost, high-quality hosting. I mean, the big challenge for running a Solana node is cost. Solana is a GPU-heavy, data-heavy node, and it's not cheap to run a Solana node. And Anatoly, a good friend of mine, the CEO of Solana, his vision is to have as many as validators to Solana, because the more the validators, the bigger the scale. So their primary motive is to reduce the cost for their validators so they can scale. And Akash is a prime platform for Solana to just run on. And some of the features we actually worked on were to accommodate Solana validators. Like recently we said we enable TCP and UDP ports because Solana actually runs on UDP ports. So that's basically a feature we designed and delivered to run Solana that's being tested right now in our testnet. Same thing with Cosmos. We are a Cosmos SDK-based chain. So obviously the first thing we're going to ensure is like we can run Cosmos itself on Akash. So that's what the second week of challenges are basically designed. So right now we're running a little over 140 validators on Akash. So Cosmos is already running. So big benefit that these both communities get from using Akash is cost savings. And second thing is we're exploring an amazing feature called ownerless services. Essentially, like because Akash is a decentralized network, you don't really have sign up, you don't really have the concept of like an owner, right? I mean, the owner is a key, right? The key could be a multi-sig key. So in a world where if you're a Solana node and you're hosting a Solana node and the cost and you earn, right, from validator fee, you earn income running the Solana node, that income can go directly from the node to Akash, paid in a Solana tokens, right? When we interoperate with Solana. So that's the future vision. So what we want is essentially a vision where Solana validators using Akash don't have to essentially go and pay for it separately, but actually take a share of the fee directly from Solana's income, pay to Akash, and vice versa. It has a very holistic, frictionless experience, and this is impossible in the cloud. And those are some of the things I think what we have in the future, right? A fully interoperable cloud. And we're also working on enabling SPL bridges, so we can essentially, hopefully get our DEXs aligned as well. So Akash tokens can be listed on a Solana-based DEX. I believe Terra, which is like Cosmos chain, has been working on enabling a bridge between between Cosmos and Solana. So that if you solve for that bridge, we can actually solve for a lot of interoperability things, and we can do a lot of cool things, basically using this bridge that benefits both Solana and Akash communities. So a lot is coming out of Solana, and they're big fans of Solana. And hopefully, even in the future, we don't have smart contracts, but hopefully we're looking forward to using Solana smart contracts for high performance smart contracts. And Akash is really fast. I'm really excited about Solana.
Great, thanks for that, Greg. I think that's great for people to understand sort of like what this network means to the ecosystem, like our immediate ecosystem, because I think that's kind of, in terms of like use cases, a really simple, low-hanging fruit for us to be able to show the community and the world at large what Akash could bring to a wide variety of different types of businesses. We have another question. What's the main business model of Akash Network's platform? And the biggest barrier for DeFi is that of interoperability, providing cross-chain interactions and multiple blockchains. How does your unique solution solve this?
Right, so that's a good question. So business model, so you've got to really think of these terms, because Akash is not a business, it's a network. So Akash, well, the company behind Akash, which is Overclock Labs, doesn't take a cut or any of the nonsense, right? So we don't really make money from all the transactions on Akash. The way we make money is by holding Akash tokens, right? So we hold Akash tokens and we stake them. And the Akash, I don't know how many of you had a chance to look at the Akash economics model. The rewards you're seeing, the amazing staking rewards you're seeing right now are coming from inflation, but that soon will change to a share of the fee, hosting fee that is paid to Akash Network. So for example, it takes about $25,000 to run Ethereum node, right? 20% of that will go to Akash stakers, right? So that's quite a bit. If you think about the industry being, $300 billion. So do the math, and 20% of that, add 100% market penetration. But that's quite a lot of money if you think about it. And that's a lot more different from what you see the fee models in your traditional layer one networks, because there's not so much money happening in traditional layer one networks, right? Except for maybe for Ethereum. And that was also changing very soon. I mean, Ethereum gas price is exuberant, but Akash is really a percentage of the income, the hosting income goes to all the stakers, right? So the Akash business model benefits the stakers, the token holders. That's how the token accrues value, right? And that's why you want to, I mean, I'm staking up a lot of tokens personally, right? So the whole like inflationary rewards we're giving to early stakers, which will dwindle down, which will, as the network matures, is to encourage people to rack up on AKTs, because when that take income is enabled, it is going to be extremely hard to get Akash tokens, because now you have a natural, easy way to understand, well, hey, $100 spent on Akash, $20 goes to stakers. I mean, distributed by the size of the stake, obviously. So that is the business model. And the second part of the question, cross-chain interactions and multiple blockchains. Yes. So someone said, I don't know who said this quote, but the biggest challenge in distributed systems is not, it's not solving distributed systems, but it's actually using it. So the goal of Akash is to reduce friction when you come to launching blockchains or launching interoperable setups. So for example, today Akash is a big contributor to Relayer. Relayer is the daemon that enables IBC or inter-blockchain communication in the Cosmos world, and we are building the production version of the Relayer, right? So if you're following all the ICF updates, you can get an idea as to what we are working and building this Relayer. And the reason we're doing this is to make sure that when you have two blockchains launched, they can actually talk to each other using Akash. Relayer running on Akash, these two blockchains may not be running on Akash, but still can use an Akash solution to connect using this Relayer. And we're going to give the Relayer the best possible experience on Akash, because that's our focus, and we're building the thing. What better way to use some solution that actually built it, right? So cross-chain interoperability is a huge barrier. More importantly, cross-chain atomic composability is a barrier, right? So the work we're doing to actually remove the friction in using the IBC is the biggest contribution we are making to the interchain or interoperability ecosphere. And soon enough, there are a lot of a secret network is working on an Ethereum bridge that'll be enabled using Relayer on Akash. So I mean that's production that's ready to go live in I believe December. So we'll see how that goes. So to give you context, someone can actually use Ethermint on this Relayer, essentially on any Cosmos chain, and cross operate with Ethereum, right? So using Akash. So it's going to be really fascinating to see what's happening in the cross-chain interoperability world very, very soon. Really excited about this. There's a lot coming, end of December and early January in terms of interoperability from Akash.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Greg. Thank you for that. We have a question. What makes Akash Super Mini advantageous than others? I'm assuming what you mean is what makes Akash Super Mini different than other, let's just say, computers, for instance. So maybe we can answer it from that standpoint.
Yeah, so Super Mini is a reference architecture for Akash. So most of Akash compute is actually data center based. Super Mini was really to make Akash more real to non-technical users, right? So the big advantage that Super Mini brings is really friction-free, way to earn passive income by being a provider on Akash, right? And it looks pretty good too. So we made it so that it is a home appliance and not just a server data center appliance. It doesn't look scary. It actually looks very, very pretty in your home. And the idea is to have this plug and earn mechanism where you just plug it in and just earn Akash tokens without having to do a single thing. The advantage, it is not the most powerful box out there. I mean, there are a lot more boxes that are a lot more powerful. It does have a very powerful GPU, a very mobile, powerful GPU. You can imagine workloads running on it, but it also is pretty silent and whatnot. So the big advantage is frictionless plug and earn for non-technical users. And again, I guess that's another way to explain the first question, like how do you plan on like making non-technical users aware of Akash? Super Mini is one of the answers for us.
Thank you for that, Greg. We have a comment. And this is from AC Validator. I initially approached this project because it is based on the Cosmos platform, and thanks to testnet/challenge, I immediately touched the big potential. I have no questions, but I would like to compliment the whole team, starting with Adam, Boz, Ryan, and all of you. Thank you. Simon or Simone, I can't tell, Simon or Simone, AC Validator. Thank you for that. That's really, really, really kind of you. Thanks for the comment. So no question, just a comment. Really appreciate that. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, Martin. Would like to congratulate and thank you to the Akash team. You're the best in giving us a load of fun. Always success for all of us. Do you have an income calculator or simulation for non-validator node as a provider?
Yes. Staking Rewards has an income calculator, staking calculator. I strongly encourage folks to go check it out. Can somebody post a link for that?
Yeah, we'll get somebody to post a link to that.
Yeah, and it also has a compound mode, which I encourage folks to check out, because I think when you compound the reward, that means you reinvest your staking rewards. The APY as it stands yesterday is about, stands now actually is about 75% or something. That soon will change, but compounding will give you, even with the reduced inflation that's about to happen very soon, the compounding rewards will be over 50%. So I encourage folks to go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
We have another Super Mini question. When will Akash Super Mini be available outside the US? Can't wait to play. We don't have any plans right now to deliver Super Minis outside the United States. Our focus right now is on shipping the initial order of 300. That being said, we do have a wait list, and maybe somebody, maybe Ryan or all of you guys can link the wait list in the chat. We already have like 400 or 500 people on the wait list for the next batch of Super Mini. So please just add your name to the list, and we'll be sending out more regular Super Mini updates regarding availability and changes and things of that nature. So just stay up to date there, and somebody will drop a link in the chat for the sign up. There it is. Sweet. What do we got here? Why did Akash just integrate with Kava, do you also have plans to enable other stablecoins for settlement on Akash DeFi?
Yes, so integrated with Kava. Number one, Kava is part of the Cosmos ecosystem, and Kava was part of the ILP ecosystem that we knew them from forever. Moreover, Brian Kerr, the founder of Kava, is a really close friend of mine. Before the blockchain days. So there's a lot of alignment in terms of our values and also our platform that will make it a realistic scenario that we can bring on Kava as a payment mechanism. I mean, USDX really as a payment mechanism. As you know, Akash is a multi-currency settlement mechanism. Right now, the only way to pay for compute is AKT. That we did so that we can actually ship the platform, but the vision is to enable any multiple payment currencies in Akash, because just like in the cloud, you don't use 100. The big vision for us for Akash is to become the gateway for decentralized cloud. So, for example, today you want to use a cloud, you need to have multiple functions, right? So you have databases, you have key management, you have DNS, you have a lot of these things that you need to use for a complete solution, right? Akash is just compute. We can provide you all the services, but there are incredible networks that do that. NewCipher, for example, provides a key management solution, right? That Akash doesn't. Now, we don't want to go build NewCipher. I mean, they're good and they do what they want. So, but what we want is to enable Akash users to use key management on NewCipher and pay using Akash token. So we need to interrupt, right? Akash tokens or NewCipher tokens, doesn't really matter, right? So, the cross-chain interoperability is very, very, very important for Akash, and it's one of the big priorities for Akash. So, in that sense, that's one of the reasons why we're doing a lot of work in enabling or contributing to the relay or the IBC efforts from Cosmos. So, again, to get back to your question, yes, Kava, we chose because it has a stable currency. And it is part of the Cosmos ecosystem, which makes it easy for us to integrate. And also, Kava is a big validator on Akash. As if you look at our validator set, they are helping us validate and secure our network. And more importantly, we are very, very, very good friends.
Thank you for that question and answer, Greg. So we got time for a couple more. We're going a little bit over, but I mean, we're getting a lot of questions right now. So we really want to make sure that everybody feels heard and that this is a unique opportunity for us to connect with you guys and just get to know you a little bit better. So we really want to answer as many of these as we can. From Daniel Halford on Discord, thanks, Daniel, for showing up. Which kind of applications are possible to deploy on Akash, and which requirements should an app meet before deployment?
I'm sorry, repeat the question. What kind of applications?
Yeah, which kind of applications are possible to deploy on Akash, and which requirements should an app meet before deployment?
Any application that can run on Amazon can run on Akash. So, I mean, as you can see from a guided challenges, you have essentially demonstrated that 3 types of applications: web tier applications, multi-tier applications, to APIs and RPC nodes, right? It's pretty much the whole gamut, whatever you can deploy, right? From a capability standpoint, one of the things you want to design your application is to be distributed system scalable, right? So we want you to think about standards, right? So it's not a standard that we establish, it's just a globally distributed system standards, right? So using ephemeral storage and understanding storage, not storing things on Akash network and expecting them to stay, basically not having like a backup, like archival mechanism. So if you follow 12-factor standard, Ryan, if you can post the 12-factor link in the thing, chat would be great. So if you follow this 12-factor standard, you will be able to deploy on Akash, right? So using environment variables for configuration management, things like that. So it's much more scalable, right? So what you want to really think about Akash, one of the ways you think about scalability in distributed systems is to make sure that you don't rely on a single machine, right? They're so used to the WordPress style of hosting. Oh, you got a VPS and just log into it and you post a WordPress and things will be okay. Now, what happens if WordPress instance goes down, right? So Akash is a hyper scalable system. So thing about scalability is instead of focusing on not going down, we focus on coming back up really quickly, right? It's about that. That's what makes Akash very, very, very scalable and unstoppable for the most part. So if we were to come back up very quickly after you fail down, because you cannot avoid falls, falls are going to happen. No matter how hard you try, you're going to fail. I mean, the servers will fail, right? Anybody that deployed on a distributed systems will know what I'm talking about. So our focus is how do we get back up? That's called fault tolerance, right? So you got to design your application to be fault tolerant. So following something like 12-factor will enable you to do so.
Great. Let's see. I think we have time for one more
conversation. Someone's asked, like, why don't you speak there? I believe Jack from who's our head of product is speaking there. So I don't have to personally speak as long as someone from Akash is speaking. So hope that answers the question.
Awesome. And so I think this is a good one. I think this is a great question. Hey guys, beyond the crypto user base and smaller machine learning, artificial intelligence demand you have mentioned before, if you are indeed partnering and going after the enterprise market, hey Jack, how are you, man? What are the challenges there? I'm thinking compliance, ISO, GDPR regs, etc. As a decentralized platform, are there ways to address those hurdles?
So which question are we looking at?
Here, let me just like send this to you real quick, and this will be our. It's from. Let me put this. I'm putting it in the chat, Greg.
Okay.
Thanks for all the questions, guys. You've been amazing. I mean, this has been a really awesome. Did you see it, Greg?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes. So our approach to market is to obviously approach the segments that value us the most, right? So our biggest value proposition right now is cost and the censorship resistance, right? Because that's one thing that we can offer no one can, and the way we can. So we're going to attack we're going to approach the DeFi and the machine learning space, because that is where we can bring the most value. It doesn't need too much explanation going to a machine learning folks and be like, hey, you want to save 50% on your cloud? It's immediate switch, right? So we're not. So we want to. I mean, we think that's a way better way to approach the market versus going and trying to get into big enterprises where cost is not necessarily their biggest value. I mean, they have a million other things that they value, right? So give you context. Amazon Web Services, the behemoth, started off offering one product, and that is archival storage, right? That is S3. They didn't have compliance. They didn't have any of these things that they have today. That was 10 years ago, right? So what they had is an incredibly valuable product that nobody was building, and a market for it, right? So our product is an unstoppable, low-cost, high-quality cloud that nobody is doing. Nobody is building it, and we're serving an underserved market, which is the DeFi and machine learning. So we are obviously going to double down and triple down to get maximum adoption before we tap into things where we have to worry about GDPR or compliance or ISO standards and whatnot. So yes, to answer your question, are we going to do that eventually? Yes, but are we going to do that now? No.
All right. Well, I think that's our last question. I just wanted to take this opportunity just to thank each and every one of you for joining, for your time, and for those of you that are challengers and have been participating in the network. The phase 3 challenges and any of the challenges before it, including phase 2, phase 1, the founding member challenges. Really appreciate what you guys have been doing. None of this happens without you, so thank you all. And thank you to those of you who are just interested in getting to know a little bit more about Akash. Really appreciate you guys just showing up from all around the world. We had somebody from Istanbul here, Ukraine, Russia. We had somebody from Australia. And also want to thank Greg for his time. Thank you, Greg, for being such a great.
Before we close, I just want to give a shout out to Sai. Sai is the founder of Crowdcast, the platform that made it happen. He's in the chat, and please make sure to hit him up and tell how much you love this platform. Sai, thank you so much for building Crowdcast. We really love it.
Yeah, we love it. Thank you, Sai, for giving us a platform to host our live streams. And so, there he is. And so we will be announcing the winners from the challenge, from the live stream drawing next week in our next stream, and we'll be doing the same, sharing updates and answering all of your questions. So
maybe we should save some money for Crowdcast and bring them onto Akash.
Sai, so there's a live pitch to Sai right now in the chat. What do you think about it?
50% or more.
We can take that offline. But yeah, so hope to see you guys next time. And that's it. That's it for us. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe, and hope you guys have some fun playing with the network this weekend.
Yes, and want to really see you guys contribute to our next week. It's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, next week is going to be really exciting, and I hope to see you guys all next week. So yeah, there's the Elon Trades discussion group. Greg had a great AMA there, so go take a look. All right, guys, that's it for us. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.